right, guys, welcome into the Cream of the Stream podcast. Today we have a very special guest by the name of SgtFidget. He slaps a lot of cheeks on DBD. He used to be a variety streamer. Now he leans more towards DBD. He just got into competitive gaming, and he's on a team known as the Cerebral Assassins. He plays killer. He's a very cool guy. I hope you guys enjoy the content. Just a reminder, all of our notifications are off. I do appreciate the follows and the alerts and everything else. But this is a podcast, so we don't really want any interruptions. This will be posted on YouTube after we are done streaming it today. Without further ado, though, let's welcome in SgtFidget. Give him a round of applause.
How much did you pay these actors?
I mean, a lot. I mean, I don't really want to.
You're gonna have to if they're cheering for me.
How you doing, man? It's good to see you.
I have coffee. I am fantastic. How are you?
Well, I gotta say that that cup slaps. I like that.
So you want to hear the story behind this mug? So
Sure.
as you can see, it's Nightmare Before Christmas, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've only ever seen this movie once back in high school. For context purposes, I graduated high school in 2007, and I was in Toronto at a random store, and I was waiting in line at the checkout. You know how they always throw like crap in those aisles to try and get you to do a last second purchase? Well, this mug was just randomly there. It is an absolutely massive mug, and it was $7. And I was like, you know what? The movie was cool, and I need a big mug for my coffee. So I bought it, and this started a collection of me only getting massive sized mugs. I don't even have any of my own coffee mugs off my own merch store because they're only 11-ounce coffee mugs. And I'm like 20 minimum. I don't go to the coffee pot every 5 seconds like I would with those 11-ounce ones. So I don't even have my own coffee mugs. I just have these ones.
You know what you need?
What do I need?
This guy.
I should show you one of my. I bought a mug from Disney World. It's literally like two and a half of these in one. It's massive. I don't even use it because it's so big that even though I drink my coffee really quickly, it's still cold by the time I get about to the last quarter of it. That mug is so huge.
That's the only thing that's bad about the big mugs. It's like before you can drink all of it, usually it starts to go cold.
Mm-hmm.
But
20
anyway,
ounces is the perfect size.
So we start at the beginning. Where did you grow up? How was your childhood?
It was good. I grew up in the country of Nova Scotia, Canada. Small town. My elementary school was like primary through 6, and on a busy year, there'd be 60 kids in that school. So we're talking like tiny. Everyone knows each other. Moved to a smaller town for junior high and high school. Moved to, and I can say this, the city, because in Nova Scotia, there's only one city. So when you say the city, everyone knows what you're talking about. So I went to college there. Then 2014, I moved to Toronto, lived there for 5.5 years. And now I live in British Columbia, Canada. Moved here. It'll be 2 years on June 1st.
And what did you do before streaming?
Acting. I was been doing acting on and off since I was 16, so for 16 years now. I started off doing some theater and stuff. Then I really liked that, and then I went to school for it, graduated from an acting program for 4 years, and started doing some film and television work, and decided very quickly the film industry back in Nova Scotia is not very big. So within about a year, like there's always like little projects popping up here and there, but most of the TV shows at the time I'd already done them. So I decided to move to Toronto and got the reality check of what auditioning is like in a big city. It's very tough. It's very tough. So did a little bit of stuff there, but then Twitch was kind of taken off for me a little bit, and I long story short, I stayed with an agency in Toronto for about a year and a half longer than I should have. They blatantly stopped kind of believing in me, even though they were still technically sending me to things. But I went from auditioning for like TV and film and stuff like that to commercials where I would walk into the room, not even speak. Like sometimes they would literally just take a photo of me, and then that was it. I would just leave. And I was like, well, like this isn't very fulfilling right now. So I took 2 years off from acting just to focus on getting Twitch to a full time level. And then once Twitch was in a good place, I kind of wanted to get back into it, but I didn't want to do Toronto anymore. And I've actually always wanted to come to Vancouver. I was looking at Vancouver when I was still in high school, like applying for colleges and stuff. So it was literally like, you know what? I've been in Toronto for 5.5 years. No regrets, but there's nothing really keeping me here. I think it's time to continue my journey elsewhere. So I came to BC moved here June 1st. And then in July, I signed with an agency here. And then I was like, yay, I can start acting again. And then the pandemic hit.
Oh,
So even though I've
uh,
been here for 2 years, I pretty much lost the first year, which was super unfortunate. But auditions have been picking up. I've auditioned for some bigger studios and some big, obviously I can't say, but I've auditioned for some pretty big names, which was pretty cool. And I've had some good feedback. I remember when I first started, when my agent signed me, she was very upfront and said, "So, listen, it's going to be a really slow start for you because nobody here knows who you are." I was like, "That's fair. That's totally fair." Because this is for those who don't know, Vancouver is called like Hollywood North, so it's like super competitive here as well, kind of like Toronto was. And my agent told me one day there was a casting director who contacted her and was like, "Hey, do you have any new people that I can see that you haven't submitted yet?" And my agent goes, "Yes, I have submitted Sergeant Fidget multiple times, and you won't bring him in." And she goes, "Ugh, fine, send him in." So I went in and did an audition for her, and then I left. And then she called my agent afterwards and went, "Oh, he's actually good. Oh, okay." And ever since then, it's been slowly getting more and more auditions. I talked to my agent like a month or so ago because when my Toronto agent stopped believing in me, it affected my confidence a lot, like a lot, like to the point where I didn't even want to like do it for a while. So I told her, I was like, "Hey, even though like with the pandemic and then slowly getting my name out there, like I know I haven't booked anything yet, so I appreciate you sticking by me." And she's like, "Hey, your audition rate is way up. The more auditions you do, the more you're getting. So, like, let's just keep going." And she's like, "At this point, we're just waiting for the right role for you," which was encouraging because, time is money for them, right? If I'm not booking, I'm not making them any money. So it was really encouraging for my agent to say that to me after my Toronto experience.
so entertaining actually came pretty natural then, since you're already used to it. Is that why Twitch streaming kind of
It is. I
ties-
when I first started, my very first stream. So I had a webcam. I didn't have a green screen, but I before my first stream, I bought a webcam, the Logitech C920. It was like $100, I think. And I said to people, I was like, even though in terms of streaming, I had no idea what I was doing, but interacting with a live audience, improving with a live audience, being on camera, none of that phased me at all because I was used to it from both film and the theater world. So when I went live and the camera was on me and people started showing up in my chat, I was just like, "Hey, how's it going?" Like no nerves at all. Very fortunate that I was able to use all those skills that I had gained over the years.
that's pretty cool. What kind of acting are you actually into? Is it more of like a comedy? Is it like
Both.
action, drama?
I would love to do an action movie. I don't think I'm big enough that they're gonna come calling for me to do Die Hard 6 or whatever the hell that's on now. But I would love to do an action movie. That'd be awesome. Doing like stunts and choreographing scenes of the action scenes or whatever. That'd be hella awesome. But I've done everything. I've done drama. I've done comedy. My name Sergeant Fidget is actually based off two plays that I did back in 2011. I was in my third year university, and the way the acting program works is there's four shows, where the fourth year students, the final year students, do the first, second, and fourth show, and then the third year students, me, we do the third show just to give them like a break in between. So in that show, it was called The Mad Woman of Shiloh, and I played the sergeant. And then after that show, I got called up to. They originally told me, they were like, "So we want you to have a role in the fourth year big production show, but you'll only be there like once a week, so it won't be too bad, like distracting you from your third year final project that you're working on." Yada yada yada. Ended up being like one of the big main roles in the show. So I was there 6 days a week. Like, you guys told me it was going to be once a week. I'm here 6 days a week. And that was the Country Wife, where I played Sir Jasper Fidget. Now, while all this was going on, I bought a PS3 because I wanted to play Mortal Kombat 9. And I was like, I need a new account. So I just combined the two characters to get Sergeant Fidget. And little did I know that it was going to become essentially my business years later.
I mean, that's honestly, this is probably the coolest start to Twitch streaming I've ever heard, because you were already an entertainer, and then now you're like, I already know how to entertain people. Why not do it live?
And that's the thing, when I think like a lot of people, when they first heard about Twitch, I was like, wait, I'm watching people play video games? Why would I do that when I could just play them myself? That's stupid. But for some reason, even though that was my first reaction, I went to check out Twitch and I just kept watching and watching and watching. And the more I watched it, I went, huh, I feel like there's something here that I could do. I feel like I could work with this. I like games. I like entertaining people. I'm comfortable improvising off a live audience. Let's give this a shot. And here I am almost 5.5 years later. It was my 5-year stream anniversary on January 13th. And actually this coming Tuesday, the 25th, is my 3-year partner anniversary, which just happens to coincide with the Resident Evil announcement chapter for Dead by Daylight. So I'm hoping the PTB will come out that day, and it'll be a good 3-year partner anniversary.
That's awesome. Are you going to do some sort of subathon or something?
I won't be doing a subathon right now. But I'll be live. We'll be celebrating. My father sent me a bottle of scotch for Christmas, and I don't, as much as I love scotch, I don't have that often because it's not cheap. But usually when I get a bottle of scotch, it's gone like a couple weeks. I've been saving this since December 25th. I have like 2 or 3 glasses left in that bottle. I've been saving it for this partner anniversary. So I've been staring at this bottle for 5 months now. So like, I'll have a couple sips of scotch to celebrate, but no, I won't be doing like a subathon or anything like that.
That's really cool. So you started off in variety. What games did you start off streaming whenever you first started?
So I played Destiny 1 for like a couple weeks because I was big into Destiny when I started learning about Twitch. Like, I thousands of hours of Destiny 1, like loved that game. But I very quickly realized I just didn't want to play one game. I was just getting bored already, and I'd only been streaming for like a week or two. So I just started playing whatever the hell I enjoyed playing. I played a bit of Resident Evil games. I played Mario Maker a little bit. I started doing retro streams every Sunday. So revisiting games from my childhood, like the Zelda, Link to the Past, Ocarina of Time, GoldenEye, Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy, like all those old kind of games. I did that every Sunday for years, and then new releases in between. I played The Witcher 3, and I literally just streamed that for almost 2 months straight. I started playing that in January when I went full time in 2018. I just played that in January and February, like 170 hours, just boom. Got super addicted to The Witcher 3. But I literally just play whatever the hell I want, to be honest.
I mean, that's pretty cool though. I mean, that's a good way to start, and it's rare that actually works for somebody, and it's cool that actually worked for you, because a lot of people that have that sort of aesthetic where they're like, I want to stream whatever I want, usually it doesn't work that way, because people on Twitch are like, I want to watch a certain game because I want to get better at this game.
As someone who grew their channel through Variety and even got partnered through Variety, I wouldn't recommend people do it. It's tough. You,
That's
I
what you
think
hear. You hear it's a tough life.
you have to. I think one of the things that it worked for me was if you're gonna do variety, you have to basically get people to enjoy you and not the game itself. It bonus if they enjoy the game, obviously, but they need to be coming to the channel for you. So for me, I was the same person no matter what game I was playing. Like I wasn't playing Mario Maker on Monday and having silly laughs and what that, and then on Tuesday I boot up Call of Duty and I turn into a raging sweat fest. It was like no matter what game I was playing, it was the same feeling, same jokes. Banana hammock. We good? Oh, oh, nope, nope. Echo, echo, echo.
Is
Nope.
it? Is it?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Everything. Oh, there we go. We good. Banana hammock was a code word for when it's echoing. For those who are wondering, what the hell just happened?
No, it's not. We just like to shout banana hammock at each other every once in a while just to see if we're paying attention. It's not a code word for anything.
No, it's back again. I think it might be me. Maybe I'm too loud. There, let's see if that helps. Anyway,
Okay. So now you're on Dead by Daylight. How did you get into Dead by Daylight?
Pyramid Head came out.
That's literally what did it. You're like, a Silent Hill chapter. Fuck yeah.
So I've always been like kind of around Dead by Daylight. I've had friends who had played that since it came out. I've even watched streams like 4 or 5 years ago, like when it first came out. Very sporadically, I would play it like a couple matches of Survivor here and there. So I always tell people I started playing this past summer, which in a way is true, but I technically had not hit 99 hours of DBD before all this. This was from like years ago though. But it was literally like I would go into maybe someone's stream and play like 2 or 3 games of Survivor and then I'd leave. But it was always kind of a running joke. And I ate this up and like, made it more of a thing, but I would like spawn into the match and then I would find the exit gate door and I would just wait. And I'd be like, guys, I found the exit gate, go to the gens. I was kind of like a memer where I didn't take it too seriously because I was just popping in every now and then. So, but then I didn't play it for like 2 to 3 years. And then Pyramid Head came out. And I'd always kind of wanted to have a consistent game on my stream, even though I was variety. When they first announced Fallout 76, I was kind of hoping that was going to be that game for me, where I could have a game that I could always fall back to, a game that I could play with the community. If there's no new releases or anything out right now, I could always just fall back on Fallout 76. But then Fallout 76 came out, and I don't think I need to go into the history of Fallout 76. I think everyone pretty much knows what happened with that game. So we just kept going with the variety thing. And then Pyramid Head came out, and I'm like, I like Silent Hill. Maybe I'll try Dead by Daylight again. And then I started playing Pyramid Head, and survivors died a lot, like a lot. And I was like, oh, like, I think I'm actually like pretty decent at this game. And then, like I said, I've had people around me who have played Dead by Daylight since it came out. So even though I was not a DBD streamer, I had a lot of people in my community who played Dead by Daylight already before I even started streaming it myself. And they were watching me and they were like, you're picking this up really, really quickly. Like really quickly. And I was like, oh, okay, good. So quickly to the point where someone a year into this, I'll be the first to tell you that ranks don't really matter. I even had a conversation about this on stream yesterday. But within like a week and a half, 2 weeks, I went from a level 20 killer to red rank killer. And right away, like I was getting it's like, well, to me, because I was brand new at the game, didn't know better, but it seemed like insanely sweaty because I was getting it literally was like someone flipped a switch and I was getting like really good players all of a sudden. So I was like, holy crap. Like I've climbed up these ranks so fast. Now I'm kind of getting my butt spanked. But because I just got thrown to the wolves, I had to pick up all like the kind of the red rank strategies a little faster than normal, to the point where I remember I was playing a ghost face match one day and it was a 4-man Swift. And like the word toxic gets thrown around a lot. Like they were being toxic, but it was just 4 friends just having some laughs. Like they weren't trying to bully me or anything. So I started goofing around with them back. And in the post game lobby, they were like, "Hey, thanks for like just being a good sport. It wasn't anything personal. We're just friends, like messing around and whatnot." And they asked how long I'd been playing the game, and I said, "Oh, I have about 90 hours since I picked it back up." And they were like, "You're this good, and you've only been playing for 90 hours? Like you're gonna be slapping people once you like really get into it." And it kind of just continued from there, where I just played more and more killer and my like, picked it up pretty quickly according to some of the DBD experts in my community.
Well, that's really awesome that you got so good at the game so fast. How did you get into comp?
That one guy D messaged me, or was it Running Man? It's one of the two. Reached out to me, and they're like, "Hey, we're throwing a comp team together. Would you interested in being a killer slash survivor, but mostly killer?" And I was like, "I have never competed in video game tournaments ever in my life. I've never even looked at them, but the idea of getting to play some really good DBD players, win or lose, sounds like a lot of fun." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll give it a shot." And so far, I've had 2 comp matches. I did a Freddy game, and then of course I've done a Pyramid Head game, and they went okay. So I
Now define okay. How was it really bad, or did you actually get any kills, or how did it go?
well, the first game was a perfect game, a 32,000 scoring game, and then the second game it was a 4K 5 gen game, so it went okay.
You totally undersold that. You're like, I
It
mean, yeah, I did all right,
went all right. 7 gen strat OP.
Yeah. That's funny. So do you see yourself going to any other game, or are you going to stick with Dead by Daylight?
I mean, I'm really enjoying Dead by Daylight right now, and it's one of those things where I used to always say this when I was a variety streamer. I was like, you always get those people that say, "Fidget, no matter what you play, I'm gonna watch you play." And I'm like, I appreciate that. That's a really nice sentiment, but it's inevitable that even as a variety streamer, one day I'm gonna play a game that you don't like, and that's okay. Like that's cool. But when I started doing more DBD, I've got lots of people. They still pop in every now and then, but they're like, "Hey, Fidget, like I love your stream, but this game is just not for me." And I'm like, "Hey, that's cool. Like I still do new releases. Like I did Resident Evil Village when it came out. I think I'm gonna do the new Ratchet and Clank when it comes out in a couple weeks. So like I'll probably see those people then. But I'm just really enjoying DBD, and with the gradual transition from variety to DBD, I'm seeing the growth. I'm seeing the channel grow. Like the thing with variety is for about 3 years, the channel did this, maybe down a little bit, and then maybe like it was very stagnant for like 3 years. And when you're trying to make this your career, that's really hard in the head. You know, not seeing a lot of growth over the 3 years. But now with Dead by Daylight, it's kind of going like this, to the point where it doesn't happen often, but even just in games, people going, "Oh my god, you're Sergeant Fidget!" Like I'm slowly getting recognized just in game, or people like, "Hey, I've played you before. You were a good killer." So it's a game I'm enjoying, and I'm seeing results from it. So I don't see myself breaking off from it anytime soon.
I mean, as long as it works, I mean, that's cool. That's cool. So where do you see yourself in the future? Do you have any long-term goals right now?
World domination.
I mean, thought that was on everybody's list.
Hopefully grow the channel. Keep growing it. I'm trying to do YouTube stuff. I just really hate editing. I know that's like a cop out BS, like whatever. But like I'm the kind of person that likes to create the content. I just don't want to sit there for 10 hours and edit it. I hate it, but I need to do it.
I
So
actually really enjoy editing. I'm probably one of the 10% that like it for some reason.
I'm
But
also at that stage of editing where anytime I want to do something, like even just like zoom in, I have to watch a YouTube tutorial on it. So it takes like so much extra time. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll blur this background. Wait, how do I do that? Okay, 5-minute tutorial. Yeah. Okay. 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 Got it. Now trying to, I just want to make the jokes. This is what I want to do. So long-term goal, be successful enough to hire an editor.
well, I mean, that shouldn't be too far away, should it?
That's pretty far away.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's fair.
Times are, yeah, this is pretty far away.
So what do you look for in like a VR mod? Do you have any form of system for those?
Like mods for my channel,
Yeah.
people who hang around, interact with the community, welcome people in, make them feel welcome, not afraid to smack someone. To me, a mod who is too afraid to use their own powers is, sorry to be cruel, but you're useless. I've experienced that before. You know, people had mod stores and they're like, oh, I didn't want to purge them. I didn't want to hurt their feelings. That's literally what you're here for. It's cool if you don't want to be the bad guy, but I got to know that in advance. You know? Yeah, someone who's friendly, welcoming, but not afraid to lay down the law.
Absolutely. Which you see that sometimes in a lot of channels though. It's one of those things that you're going to lose people. Like, I mean,
Yep.
It's inevitable. I mean, it could be people that have been there for a long time. It could be brand new people. You're going to lose them. I mean,
there's one of those things where, especially I used to stop people from doing this earlier. It's always so interesting on Twitch, and this isn't just like in my channel. I've seen this across Twitch. I had to ask the mods to not purge people, even if it's just a joke, even if it's even blatant, like people are just goofing around and whatnot. People on Twitch have this weird thing where if they get purged, even if it's like no one's even like, say maybe someone says a joke that's a little like, you know, it's like, I know you're just kidding, but this is a little risque, may upset people. So it's like, hey, no one's upset with you. We know you're just goofing around, but we're going to delete this joke just so no one gets upset in chat. And from that alone, because you deleted their message, they will take it as the biggest personal attack that they have ever experienced in their life, and you will never see them again. And I don't mean like someone who's walking in on your channel for the first time. I've seen it happen to people who have been there for years. But one message is purged, you'll never see them again. And I don't know why. I've seen this constantly across multiple channels on my years on Twitch. So I had to, like, early on, I was like, hey guys, I know you're just kidding around, but don't jokingly purge people because people can't handle it. Just don't do it.
That is also interesting, you know, which that's kind of more like the psychological thing, you know, of viewers and everything else, which they know why. You know, you want to like be like, well, maybe they don't know the why. They don't know why you deleted it, but you know, they definitely do, which that's kind of unfortunate. But I forgot to ask you earlier, how many hours do you actually have in DBD as of right now?
I have.
You don't have an estimated amount?
I don't need to give you an estimated amount. I got the exact number right in front of me. 1,278.8 hours.
That's actually not a lot of time. And for you to be doing as well as you are, competing in comp and everything else, and actually murdering people in comp, that's good on you. Good on you.
So even you may as well subtract 100 from that too, because like I said, the reason I specified 99 hours when I was talking about playing Survivor casually like years ago, because me having 99 hours was like an inside joke with people. So since I started playing when Silent Hill came out, so 1,178 hours, essentially.
That's like borderline incredible, Fidget. Like, I've got a little bit more time than that, but not much more. And I'm also a survivor main, but I let DBD go kind of like you did for a while, and I didn't play it for a long time, and
Mhm.
I finally came back to it.
I
I
don't
got
know,
on the
man.
Battle Royale train.
It was just one of those things where when I started playing Killer, it just made sense. I don't know. I don't know really know how to explain it. It just when I started playing, it just made sense. And when I first started, I would always kind of comment on what I was doing and what I was thinking. And I remember people in my chat being like, "Fidget, stop bullying them. You're literally telling us what they're going to do before they even do it, and then they do it, and you kill them. Stop it." I'm like, "I'm sorry. I don't know. It just makes sense to me. I just know what they're gonna do." And I think that's what makes my pyramid head. This is gonna. Anytime someone compliments themselves, they're immediately accused of being egotistical. So I guess I'm gonna be egotistical here. I think that's why my pyramid head is where it's at because I typically will know where a survivor's gonna go. So again, people who've been playing DBD for years have told me like your pyramid head is gross with your M2 is a range attack or whatever because I'll just do blind shots through a wall and hit them like so many times. I just know where they're gonna go. I don't know how to explain it.
What's your like sweatiest build with Pyramid Head? What do you usually run?
I feel like the sweaty build is like the standard comp build, like your ruin sorry, not tinker. Ruin, pop goes the weasel, corrupt. Corrupt is one of those things where I wish you didn't have to run it, but you do because if you don't, two gens will pop instantly in a comp setting. It sucks having a perk for 2 minutes. It is what it is. But ruin, pop, corrupt, and then you kind of have wiggle room on your fourth one. It all depends on how you want to strategize. Like, do you want to do haunted ground? Haunted ground goes well with ruin because you're kind of using it as bait. It's kind of a coin flip if they get ruin or haunted ground. Noed. I don't use Noed at all. But in comp, it's different. I'll throw that on every now and then. If it was like a regular match, like just like in a public match, I like using things like infectious fright, modern abuse, nurses calling, because you can sneak up on people healing. With the double range add-ons with modern abuse, you can be farther away than they think, or closer than they think because of the terror race is reduced by 8 meters, and they're healing with nurses calling, and then you get them with a ranged attack because they don't realize you're that close. There's a lot you can do with
Yeah,
Pyramid Head. I love them.
yeah. I've
Sorry,
been seeing a lot of people run a Hangman noose with Pyramid Head. You know, the
Hangman
way
news.
you can see them healing whenever they're by hooks. I think that's the name of that perk, and they just go back and do the M1 and get both of them, or the M2 and get both of them. Knock them.
Hangman's news. I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know what perk.
Or no, it's
Healing
what's it
nurses
called?
calling is the one that lets you see them healing. Is that what you're thinking of?
Hangman's trick. That's what it's called. Hangman's trick. It's just
Oh,
it's the one that you can see them healing by the hooks. I don't know why Hangman's news came out, but hey, that's okay.
is that the
That's okay.
Deathslinger perk?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't play him. He's
Well,
gross.
I hope not.
He smells bad.
I hate Deathslinger. Anytime I come into a match with him, I'm like, I'm gonna go to sleep. You guys do whatever you want.
I hate playing against Deathslinger. I hate it. I hate it.
One of those killers that you don't have a lot of counterplay to. You just kind of have to hope they miss, you know? It's
You mean
pretty
you don't like it when he just aims down sights and receives absolutely zero penalty if he just cancels it to zone you? That's not fun to you? What? What do you mean? What do you mean?
yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
So
you outsmarted him at a loop and you got away? Nah, he's gonna pull you back in. What do you mean that's not fun?
it's terrible.
Next,
It's
next thing you're
terrible.
gonna tell me it's not fun playing against the spirit. You're full of it.
I actually found out some new things about Spirit, and I can't test it if it actually works. Apparently, right before she phases, there's a shard on her knee that lights up. So like whenever she
I've never
starts
noticed that
to phase,
before.
that's what I watched a big tutorial on this video because somebody was telling me about it, and I watched it, and that was one thing that they told me, and I'm like, dude, I've got like almost 1,500 hours in this game, and how did I never notice that? That's what they said. I don't know if that's true or not, and I cannot verify, but that's what he showed in the video, and you can actually see it light up. But anytime I ever play in a game, I don't have the opportunity because they don't do it at the pallets. There's not a lot of people that try to fake. Usually they just fake and don't do it at all.
Well, now I'm gonna be going into spirit games and like intentionally dying. So I'm just gonna be staring at her knees, trying to see if anything lights up.
You see, that's what happens to me too. And I just like, I want to see it. Is this true? Is this true? And I don't know if anything has been changed. So are you gonna lean into acting more whenever it comes back, or are you gonna?
Oh, auditions have picked up again, but they're up and running. And I've been getting. There was nothing this week, but you'll get weeks where you get nothing. But then last week I had 3 auditions in 1 week. So it's always last second sporadic. You never know when it's coming. I could wake up Monday. My agent's like, "Hey, you have 2 auditions Tuesday and Wednesday. Good luck." Or I might not hear anything for another week or 2. You never know. It always seems to come in waves.
You have to move your schedule around whenever that happens, or do you just keep with the same Twitch?
So right now, not so much because of the pandemic. Everything is self-tape. Typically, you would have to go into an actual casting office. So when that happened, I had to rearrange things here and there. But that's also why I wanted to dedicate time all those years ago to getting Twitch full time, because when I was bartending and I got an audition, I had to give up an entire shift. Right. But now it's like, hey, I'm going to be an hour late to stream today for an hour and a half, whatever. I can make both work at the same time.
Well, and I've been in your channel quite a bit, and it seems like your community is, always supporting you. So, I think they have a good balance of understanding that, oh, he's working, and they always like to come back.
Oh yeah, like I've had last second auditions come up, like been like 3 hours into stream, and my chat would be like, "End stream, go work on your audition, go do it." I'm like, okay, bye.
So, what are your goals with acting? Where do you plan to be with acting?
World domination. I would love to do. It's always been a lifelong dream to be in a feature film. With that being said, the way the media has gone over the years, I technically watch more TV shows now than I do movies. But with that being, I would still want to do. I'd love to be in a TV show. I've been in TV shows, but I'd like a regular in a TV show. But I would love to make a feature film one day.
But I mean, honestly, that everybody is on, like the whole binging thing now. So, I mean, that's kind of why television has taken off so much, and there's not a lot of people watching movies because the whole living stream thing. So,
well, they can also tell better stories because they're not restricted to a 2-hour time window. They can do like a 10 episode 1 hour season, like 10 episodes 1 hour per episode, which you can tell so much more story with. And then of course you get shows that do the 10 episodes 10 hours, and then when they get to their final season they just cut it down to 7 and phone it in, and turns an amazing show into an absolute disaster. No names being mentioned, but
I actually said something. I remember I was doing a podcast with Tally, and I was talking about what do you do to engage conversation in your chat, which I'm going to ask you after this. But I told him that I usually bait people by saying something that's controversial and something that most people disagree with. And I was like, the ending to Game of Thrones wasn't that bad. And then I remember you coming out of lurk and being like, I just spit my coffee out. What did you just say?
I almost just disconnected from this phone call.
So, I mean, in theory, that worked then, because it brought you out of lurk to engage conversation,
Did like you have bad opinions. Get back to lurk.
Do you do anything like that to engage conversation in chat?
Every now and then, I'll throw something out, or like even yesterday, out of nowhere, I asked a random question. I was like, "Chat, if you could have one guaranteed Friday, Saturday, or Sunday off from work, which day is it and why?" Just throwing random AF questions out there. Otherwise, I mostly just keep it interacting with the game. Especially if I'm killing. I think with killer, it's super hard to play killer well and focus on it while paying attention to chat at the same time. I try to do both because I don't want chat to feel they can't talk if I'm playing killer, because I won't see it. Like I do look over a lot, but sometimes if I just want to hang out with chat some days, I'll just play survivor. because it's way easier to throw things out there, interact with them and whatnot.
The cerebral assassins, are they going to dwindle out? Are they always going to be a team? Are you always going to be a part of it?
I basically just show up, kill when they want me to, and then I go back and do my thing.
So they haven't asked you to actually play Survivor yet?
What's going on with Survivor right now, we just brought in a bunch of new people, specifically to play Survivor, and we also even formed a second team. So we have 2 teams now under the Cerebral Assassins. With Survivor right now, I'm like a backup on the main team. So I come to I come to as many practices as I can, and I keep up to date with like what they're doing in terms of like their builds, the map callouts, and everything. So if there's a situation where someone can't make a tournament game and they need me to hop in, like I'm ready to go. But more than likely, I'll just be focusing on killer, which is fine with me because that's what I prefer to do anyway. I like to play Survivor and chill and whatnot, but killer is my preferred. But Cerebral Assassins go anywhere? No, no, no. I think the way this team is shaping up and how they've been playing with only 2 tournaments, we did the Vigos qualifier, and then we did Nettie Dorco's tournament last week, and we've done very, very well already, and we're only going to get better.
Absolutely. Yeah, which I like that you guys all practice as a team, even if you're not playing. You know, you guys still show up, because you were actually talking on stream the other day about how you were there watching them, and you pretty much were like, "You guys are dog shit." You know, like you were saying that you were pretty much giving them constructive criticism, like you need to do this better, and they were like, "Oh God." So you were saying that you were pretty much had to be the asshole, but it's like, you know, this is what I'm here for.
So it wasn't like an official thing, but I was talking to Running Man and D, and I was like, so I had a job for 3 years where I became a manager and I was working with actors who were doing live theatrical tours. It was like at a brewery tour. So during that 3 years, my boss taught me a lot about how to work with people, how to give notes in a way that they're constructive, helpful, while also giving them notes that will encourage them. So I'm very comfortable giving the good and the bad notes to people, to the point where Running Man called me over this the other day. He's like, "You just don't take people's excuses. You just shut them down, and it's great." And it's like, I'm not doing it to like pick on you or bully you or anything like that. Like I believe in building people up. I have no desire to tear people down, but I will tell you what you need to hear to be better at the end of the day. And I've kind of unofficially kind of started doing that in the practice. Like our scrim that we had on Wednesday, I didn't play a single game. I was fine with that. I even told them, like, if you guys just want to do your thing, I have no problem with that. But I didn't play a single game, and I just wrote down notes for the survivors and the killer. And anytime I was like, "So you did this, you shouldn't do that," but nope, just don't do it. And afterwards, I was like, some of these new people probably hate me, but like, I swear I'm on your side. I just want you to be the best player you can be.
Well, you know, I mean, that's the part of constructive criticism. You know, you don't really want to hear it, but it's something that you got to work on. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you get a lot of that with comp, because those minor errors that you have can throw the game.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what you don't want.
In a game like this where time management is so important, it's like, I'll be on you. And they're gonna be like, he doesn't even play Survivor with us. Why is he giving us notes? Like, I'm sorry. Sorry. I just want you to be better.
So right now we're gonna take questions from the community. Does anybody have anything? Dax did ask something earlier.
Oh, here we go.
He just wanted to know how big your ego was, but he
Yeah.
said it, you know, kind of like in a different way, you know, that type of thing.
Depends on the mood.
When is Fidget going to add table talkers to use channel points for?
That must
Been
be Kitty
waiting.
Paws.
He hasn't set it up. Yeah.
Is that kitty paws?
Yeah.
I have a bad habit of being like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that. But then in my head, I start doing 50,000 things at once and I forget about it. And then they ask me in chat and I go, crap, I need to do that. And then I forget about it again. I think I need
I,
to add channel points where it's like it can be redeemed once an hour or something like that for table talk. To go back to your question earlier about throwing things at chat, where are they? If you are someone who struggles with coming up with things with chat, these table talkers are actually very good. That's something you can just grab like a random card and be like, hey, chat, if you owned a boat, what name would you choose for it? You can just throw random crap like this at chat and they love
Jimmy.
it. They love it. I'll
Why
do
does
it.
Fidget believe?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, no. If you were gonna say something else about it, go ahead.
Nope. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Why does Fidget believe Resident Evil 6 is the best Resident Evil?
Resident Evil 6 doesn't exist because it's the worst game ever. It's
I heard you talk about that quite a bit, so I kind of knew where that was going.
Long story short, they abandoned the survival horror aspect, which made Resident Evil great. They saw the success that Call of Duty was having because this was like mid 2000s, I think it came out. Would have, or maybe it was around. It would have been around 2012, give or take, around 2012. Resident Evil 6 came out, and Call of Duty was like, this is when it really started. Like Call of Duty was always big, but this is when it really started like booming.
Yeah.
And they saw the success of over the top action and shooters, so they tried to add that into Resident Evil, and it was just a disaster. Ugh. It's a running joke in my community because they know how much I love Resident Evil, but I hate that game. I hate
Yeah.
it.
Which I've heard you talk about that a few times, so I figured that's how that was gonna go.
Mhm.
If Fidget got a major acting role, how would he balance both acting, streaming, and comp play?
So typically, if say I booked like I'm gonna be a regular on a TV show. I'm in maybe 9 of 10 episodes or whatever. Typically, not 100% of the time, but typically the shows shoot Monday through Friday, and then they're off on the weekends. So more than likely, I wouldn't during the few months that I'm working on the show. I wouldn't stream throughout the week because I'd probably come home and start working on lines for the next day or the next episode, whatever. And then on the weekend, I would probably try and sneak in at least one stream, maybe two. And then if there was a comp thing, it would be pretty much, hey, it's Saturday afternoon. Yep, I'm not shooting that day. I can be there. But if it's like a Thursday afternoon and I'm on set, this is why we have a large roster. We have like in our main team, we have 3 killers. Me, Jazzy, and that one guy D. So like if there was ever an instance where I couldn't show up, one of them would just this actually already happened. And I before we even knew about the qualifier dates, I told them straight up, I was like, hey, Resident Evil Village comes out this weekend, or like this weekend, like a month and a half away. I have a sponsored stream for it because a company's hooking me up with a new PC. Like I will not be available for that weekend. And they're like, great. They knew that in advance, so they planned around it. D and Jazzy took care of everything, so it wasn't an issue. And it's the same like going forward. Like if D wasn't able to make a day, Jazzy and I would just step up and take care of it, and vice versa. You know.
Looks like chat's kind of dwindled out, but I've got one. As far as networking goes for your stream,
Mhm.
what do you recommend doing for networking, or what do you do for networking?
Uh, Networking is always tricky because in a field where everyone wants to succeed, people are very weary of like what your intentions are. So more often than not, if I go into a stream and I feel like I vibe with the creators, I try to I don't go in and be like, hey, I'm a streamer too, or blah 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 blah. I try to just vibe with them on like on a personal level, like with their community, with the streamer, whatever. People are more receptive when it's genuine, opposed to when it seems like you want something. For example, when I first started playing Dead by Daylight, a random streamer rated me. I think great, cool, nice to meet new people. I just started playing this game, so I'm happy to meet new people in the directory. And then, like a half hour later, they rated me again. I was like, that's weird. Like, welcome back? Question mark. And then the next day, or like a day or two later, they rated me again. And then like 10 minutes later, they were like, hey, I'm just lurking while I'm live myself. So I was like, oh, I suspected this is what was going on, but you just confirmed what was going on. So I didn't even say anything. The mods just purged them and said, hey, please don't advertise your stream in here. And then we never saw them again. So it's like you can see what people are trying to do, you know? People can see through it. So like don't worry so much about like my camera's going out of focus here. There we go. Meet people on a genuine personal level. Don't go in with expectations or like you're trying to sell your stream or whatever. People are more receptive if it seems like you just want to vibe versus, hey, this stream has 100 viewers. I'm going to go in here and try and be like, oh yeah, I stream too. I stream this. It's going to, people are so guarded. It's going to turn people off right away. And it's a fine line. I know that's, if you're a new streamer or listening to this, you're probably like, that's a little confusing. It's a really fine line you have to tread when doing that sort of stuff. But if you're genuine and don't want anything back out of it, I guarantee you'll have more success that way, as backwards as that may sound.
Absolutely. Siflux, thank you for the raid. Sorry, we do have notifications off right now. We are doing a podcast with SgtFidget right now. Kind of just going to the backstory. If any of the newcomers that just came in here have any questions for Fidget, we are taking questions from the community right now. So if you have something, go ahead, throw it on.
Someone wants to say hi.
That kind of looks like my cat. Is that Maine Coon?
He is. Well, so the joke is when I adopted him, they told me he is part Maine Coon, but they never told me what the other part was.
Yeah, that's
So
actually the same thing they did with our cat.
So he's part Maine Coon, part question mark. He's a big baby, as you can see.
That's awesome. Besides Resident Evil, because it's a gimme. If he's offered a role that was a game based, what would the dream role be? Or who would the dream role be? That's a very good question.
That isn't Resident Evil? Was that the first part of that question?
Yes.
So that's not Resident Evil.
Yeah. So if you could
probably
be a game
Link.
character.
I would look really good in green tights. Wouldn't you agree? Killer. Dead by Daylight's open on my other monitor, and I saw Hunters looking at me, so I said killer. Another role. A role in a video game. I'm quickly scrolling through like my Steam library. I feel like maybe it'd be too similar to Lord of the Rings or whatnot. I feel like Elder Scrolls would be really fun to make a movie with. I also just am a sucker for sci-fi and fantasy, so.
So you just want to be like the main protagonist in like Skyrim or something like that.
Honestly, I would even do like motion capture for like one of the like an Argonian or Khajiit or elf, whatever. It wouldn't even have to be the main guy. That would just be cool. I've auditioned for motion capture stuff before, and I like so badly want it. I'm like, this would be such a fun experience to do. Mass Effect would also be cool. I couldn't be Commander Shepard. I couldn't pull off Shepard. I would probably be cast more of I think it was Joker. Like the pilot dude. Seth Green voiced him in the game. Did you ever play Mass Effect?
No, my brother did.
Oh.
He told me all about it. I actually never played him.
Trying to. I could also do Bioshock. I could do the lead in Bioshock. I feel like I could be either Andrew Ryan or the main protagonist in Bioshock. Would you kindly cast me? Did you ever play Bioshock?
Yes.
Okay. I was like, did that reference go over his head?
What inspired you to stream?
I like telling jokes. I like entertaining people. I like video games. They just seem to like. I like entertaining. I like video games. That's Twitch. I should give it a shot because I could do it alongside acting and cross promote easily. So that's what made me get into it.
Well, it looks like we don't have a lot more questions from oh, hold on. Really, Dax? They're asking hot tub questions. I'm assuming you know where that's going. Where do you see
Subathon
yourself
goal.
in 5 years? Subathon goal for a hot tub
Yeah,
stream?
subathon goal. Although, like my apartment's so small, I don't even think I could fit a kiddie pool in here. To be honest, and whenever I see those, I'm like, how do they get rid of the water afterwards without spilling it everywhere? That's my big concern. I'd go to empty the pool and I would dump it, and all the water would go to my computers and fry everything. I mean, granted, it's hot tub money, so I could just replace them after one stream. Because you do a hot tub stream, you make $30,000 easily, right? That's what I was told.
I guess so. I had to get on one time. I went on the directory. I was like, what is this about? So I had to go, and there was a bunch of people that had over 10K people watching them, and they're just in a hot tub.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't understand what's going on right here, but hey, whatever.
And I always have to kind of laugh when people are like, I don't have any viewers because people are watching the hot tub streams. And I'm like, look, listen, this might be hard to hear, but someone who is watching a hot tub stream is not the same person they're not sitting there watching someone in a hot tub, then all of a sudden go, you know what? I want to watch random streamers crappy sniper montage from Call of Duty where they got 6 kills over 25 games and made a montage over it. It's not the same audience. It's not the same people. This is one of those things where I'm telling you something you might not want to hear, but it's true. People aren't not watching you because of hot tub streams. They're not watching you because your content's not good. Look at yourself in the mirror, watch your content, see what you like, see what you don't like, and improve on it. Sitting there complaining about a hot tub stream, that's not going to do anything for you.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Hopefully right here. Hopefully still streaming. Hopefully have some acting stuff going on. It's so unpredictable. I always make the joke where people say streaming isn't a secure career, so I have a backup career as acting. Yeah, you see how I don't make the best decisions in life.
That's fine. I'll be waiting for Die Hard 10 whenever you're
hell yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. I've got my protein shakes. I'm ready to go.
Does Fidget like Resident Evil 6 or Fallout 76 more?
Fallout 76. Because at least I can laugh at Fallout 76 ridiculousness. Resident Evil 6 just annoys me.
Yeah, you've got a lot of beef with that game. I've heard, like, I kind of undersold it whenever I said you've brought it up on stream, but you've literally brought it up every time I've been in your stream.
No, let's correct something here. I don't bring it up. My chat brings it up because they've been using the same one joke for 5 years, acting like I haven't heard that joke before. I don't bring it up. They do, and they know what they're doing.
It's community, man. All right, so it looks like the chat questions have kind of dwindled out. So do you have any tips for upcoming streamers? Anything that you've learned?
Play what you like. But with that being said, play what you like in a directory that you can grow. Now, if you don't care about like growing and you just want to play games with your friends and that's it, play whatever the hell you want. But if you want to actually grow and potentially make this a thing at some point, don't play to one viewer in Call of Duty Warzone or Fortnite. If you're a god at that game, you might have a chance to, get your content out there. But in a directory so oversaturated like that, you're gonna have a really rough time. You're gonna have you could be great. And this is the rough thing about Twitch. You could be amazing at the game, but in a directory like that, you are just gonna be buried and buried and buried. If you want to grow, you can't rely on Twitch. You have to use things like YouTube, TikTok, social media, because Twitch is not gonna promote your thing. No one's gonna be able to find you. A game like Dead by Daylight is great because it's a directory that a lot of people like. Like I've even had people say, "Fidget, I don't like this game, but I like watching you play this game." Fidget, I don't like watching Survivor, but I like watching you play Survivor. Dead by Daylight is a game that a lot of people, even if they don't like playing it, they enjoy watching it. But at the end of the day, you need to stream something you enjoy. Don't stream something because you think you'll grow. If you aren't having fun, no one's going to have fun watching you.
Miss Kitty Pauls did throw one in there afterwards, and she said, "What game do you watch on Twitch other than DBD?" I'm assuming it's what they made.
Whenever I see a retro game being played, like if I'm just scrolling through my file list and I see someone's playing Earthbound, for example, I'll click on that so fast, like without hesitation. I love watching older games. I love watching people have their first playthroughs of Resident Evil games, like with Village over the last few weeks. It's been really great seeing like first playthrough. I'm like, click. I love watching people play through those games for the first time.
All right, brother. I think that's about the end of it. We've covered about anything else. Is there anything else that you want to say to your community, or anything else that you have in mind that you'd like to share?
Not that I can think of.
Well, thank you guys for being out here and supporting Fidget and supporting me, and enjoying the podcast. This is going to be posted to YouTube. Make sure to say bye to Fidget. Stop by and check him out. He is a fantastic killer player, and he's a cool guy. We chatted for a little while before this, and we pretty much just giggled at each other for a while. Talked about banana hammocks and everything else. Angus just popped in and said, "Would you choose? Hold on. Would you choose between being a super big streamer with 20K viewers, or only streaming one game all the time, or being a smaller trader, lost viewers with but doing variety?"
Depends what you want to do. So, and what I mean by that is, even though I've been playing a lot of Dead by Daylight over the last year, ever since I've been gaming on the original Nintendo system, I'm not someone who can just only play one game forever. Like even now, I'm trying to like look at other variety games to sprinkle in here and there while I play Dead by Daylight, just for my own sanity and gives other people a break too from seeing the same content all the time, right? However, if this is like your job, for example, as I was saying, like when my channel was stagnant for like 3 years, even though my community was crazy support, I'm not trying to like downplay that at all. Like people stuck around. I've been streaming for 5.5 years, and I still see people like today who followed me like in my first month. Like I have a very loyal, dedicated community, and I'm extremely lucky for that. But like if you're trying to grow this into a job, you have to kind of find that balance between having a game that's gonna help you, pay your bill. This is the thing that no one ever wants to talk about when people talk about full-time streaming. You got to do the thing that's going to pay your bills, but at the same time, you don't want to alienate your audience. So I guess to answer the question, I don't know if I would say like I want to be a small streamer, like a mid-sized streamer. Like if I'm trying to do this as a full-time job, and if I had a game, like say Dead by Daylight gave me 100 viewers every day minimum, right? But then say I'm like, you know what? Okay, so Resident Evil Village is out. I'm gonna play that, and then it goes down to 5 viewers. If this is just like a hobby of mine, whatever. But as it's my job, and it's what stops me from being homeless, more often than not, you kind of have to play the game that pays the bills, right? So
Absolutely.
it's I will always play like new releases and stuff. I'm always curious to play new games. Like even right now, I'm trying to figure out when's the best time to play Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk obviously had that rough launch. So I'm trying to figure out right now, I'm like, do I play it now that I have the new computer? Do I wait for a few more patches to come out? Because I still like playing all these other games. But I don't think I could like play one game for eternity and only one game for eternity. But it's nice to have that home base.
I think that's a good response. I mean, as a full-time streamer, you do have to do what's best for you, and
Mhm.
it's unfortunate that a lot of people don't want to talk about that, but it is what it is. This is your food. This is what's putting food on the table. This is
Mhm.
your thing.
And it's like you can't really talk about that too much because people will try and read between the lines for something that isn't there. So typically, I just avoid these conversations. Like on my own stream, I don't talk about this sort of stuff. You know, high periods, low periods. That's not why people come to your stream, right? They come for entertainment. They don't want to hear about all that other stuff. Um, yeah, it's you got to tread carefully when you talk about this sort of stuff because
Yes.
people just don't like to hear about it, which is totally fair. That's totally understandable. Is why I try to avoid it as much as I can.
Well, we have some people sneaking in with some more questions. Do you have time to answer these questions, or
I got nowhere to be.
do you ever regret the variety-based games that you played in the past 5 years?
Nope. Because so it probably hindered my growth overall by being variety for those years. But like I was just saying, I have people who followed me in my first, second month of streaming 5.5 years ago, who I literally saw in my chat yesterday. So through all those games, and even when I started doing more Dead by Daylight, even if they don't like Dead by Daylight, they're still here. Zero regrets. And is why even though I've like the numbers prove that Dead by Daylight has been great for the channel and it's been growing in terms of viewership, follows, all that. Like even though that's up, I will still do variety with new releases because I just like video games. It's just who I am. And sure, maybe I'll take a little bit of a hit when I go to those other games, Cyberpunk, Resident Evil, Ratchet and Clank, whatever. But at the end of the day, I'm a gamer. I like playing video games. I'm not just gonna play one game, and I'm not gonna feel bad about not playing Dead by Daylight for a couple days. When I first decided to go variety, when I watched a lot of Destiny streamers, they would literally take one day off from Destiny and play something else, and their chat would just fill up. Did you quit Destiny? Oh, you're not playing Destiny anymore, so you quit Destiny. Oh, because you're not playing it today, that means you quit forever and you uninstalled it, destroyed the disc. You're never playing it again, right? You've quit Destiny. And I could see the streamers understandably getting annoyed, and I was like, I never want that experience. So I think most people who come into my channel know, yeah, I play a lot of DBD, but when new awesome games are out, I'm gonna check them out, assuming I have interest in them.
What's been your favorite game that you streamed so far?
I
Uh-oh.
probably want to say Witcher 3. Despite the success we've had with Dead by Daylight, probably Witcher 3. Those 2 months was just so fun. Anyone who knows me, when these open world RPGs, I love side quests, and there's just side quests for days. Like the side quests in Witcher 3, the stories in them are better than the main stories in other games. That game was just so fun to stream. It was such a great experience. Probably Witcher 3.
All right, guys. We've got we're gonna close down the questions no more. We're not gonna take any more questions because we already said goodbye and everything, and then you guys started throwing more questions out. But that's okay. That's okay. Anyway, Fidget, it's been a pleasure talking to you. It's been delight having you here.
Thanks
I
for having
enjoyed
me.
messing with you at the beginning, and I'm excited to see where your content and where your future goes.
Appreciate it, man. This was fun.
And
Thanks for having me.
I'm gonna try to fund, Die Hard 10, and we'll see if we can get you on there.
Get it going, please and thank you. I'll be waiting.
All right, guys. Say bye to Fidget. Have a good one, boss.
Take care, man.
All right, guys. That was Fidget. We're going to wrap up the podcast right now. I am going to raid out. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. This is going to be posted to YouTube. So make sure, if you guys didn't catch all of it, if there's something that you missed, make sure to stop by and watch the YouTube, or you can also watch it in the Twitch VODs, whatever you like. I appreciate you guys. Don't deserve you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the support.